Welcome to Enlighten Wisdom, beloved souls. The truth has finally emerged, and it's far more shocking than anyone could have imagined. The cat is not just out of the bag, it's roaring for the world to hear. The extreme lengths that this group went to in order to orchestrate your downfall are now being fully exposed. Behind the curtain were elaborate schemes, coordinated efforts, and manipulations so intricate, all carefully designed to lead to your collapse. But now, all of it is unraveling. The depth of their deceit and the precision with which they plotted your ending is leaving people utterly stunned. What they believed would remain forever buried is being dragged into the light for all to witness. No more secrets, no more hiding. The universe, in its divine timing, is revealing what was once done in darkness. Now, they are being forced to face the consequences of their actions, while you, steadfast in your truth, stand tall in the light. This is cosmic justice in its purest form. They thought darkness would shield their wrongdoings forever. They believed their secrets were locked away too deep for truth to reach. But they were wrong. So wrong. What was once cloaked in shadows now stands fully exposed under the unrelenting brilliance of revelation. The truth isn't just whispering anymore, it's thundering across every rooftop, and the world is finally listening. Every single move they made against you has been logged in the cosmic records. Every whispered plot, every malicious plan, every calculated strike has been recorded with perfect clarity. Nothing, absolutely nothing, escapes the great divine accounting. And now, the ledger is wide open for all to see. Look around and observe how they scatter, like insects exposed when a stone is overturned. The power they flaunted was always a mirage, a fragile illusion, a house of cards built on sinking ground. And now that foundation is dissolving. Their structure collapses before them, and they reach for crumbling pieces in vain. But it's too late, far too late. The very system they built to silence your voice is now amplifying your truth. Every effort they made to erase you only deepened the permanence of your legacy. That is divine irony in motion. Their obsessive need to control the outcome has only accelerated their downfall. The universe, in all its wisdom, has a way of turning the tables with poetic precision. Their desperate grip on the narrative is slipping with every breath, every second. What they failed to see, what they could never comprehend, is that darkness has no power when the light chooses to arrive. And arrive it has. In brilliant, blinding waves, the truth is sweeping across everything like wildfire through dry brush, consuming every lie, every manipulation, every carefully crafted illusion. They spun masterful fictions, crafting elaborate tales to cast themselves as the noble heroes and paint you as the villain. But now those lies are disintegrating, molecule by molecule, atom by atom, dissolving back into the void from which they came. They cloak themselves in righteousness, presenting as defenders of order, masking their corruption behind a facade of false virtue. With fingers pointed outward, they created distractions to divert attention from the rot within. But their arrogance was blinding, and their miscalculation fatal. The very foundation of their narrative was flawed from the beginning, and now, under the crushing weight of truth, the structure groans and fractures. Can you hear it? The splintering, creaking symphony of their collapse, the long-awaited harmony of justice finally playing out. Even those who once stood by them now look away, unable to witness the unraveling. One by one, their staunchest allies retreat, unwilling to be swallowed by the gravitational pull of their inevitable downfall. Quiet whispers have grown into doubts, and those doubts are now erupting into open accusations. Supporters begin to question their own judgment, wondering how they could have been so thoroughly misled. The evidence is overwhelming, and the pattern can no longer be ignored. What once appeared to be isolated incidents now form a constellation of malice, a clear and undeniable picture of calculated destruction aimed directly at you. They spent sleepless nights crafting alibis, fabricating evidence, and rehearsing coordinated testimonies, all for nothing. The elaborate scaffolding of deceit they erected cannot survive the earthquake of revelation now shaking its core. One by one, the beams buckle. The load-bearing lies that once held their story together crack and collapse. Their once passionate denials now echo with hollowness. The tearful pleas of innocence, the dramatic cries of persecution, all revealed as staged performances meant to manipulate emotions and bypass reason. But now, the curtain has been pulled back. The audience sees the machinery of their deception and the illusion evaporates for good. They rewrote the script of reality, casting you as the antagonist in a drama of their own making. They altered timelines, reconstructed events, and distorted truth to fit their narrative. But reality is a stubborn force. Truth does not bend forever. And now, the authentic timeline reclaims its place, sweeping through like a powerful tide, washing away their lies like fragile sandcastles. Their campaign against you was never accidental. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a carefully designed and ruthlessly executed mission to remove you from the equation entirely. Those strange coincidences that chipped away at your progress, engineered, the misunderstandings that left you isolated, manufactured. Even the friends who suddenly turned their backs, manipulated. Every setback, every betrayal, every obstacle you faced was a carefully placed piece of a larger, calculated agenda. The effort they put into your destruction says everything about what they saw in you. Why else would they dedicate so many resources, so much energy to silencing just one person? Why else would their focus be locked so tightly on your removal? Because in you, they recognized something dangerous to their illusion. In you, they saw a force that could not be controlled. They saw the seeds of their own inevitable exposure growing in your presence, and now the moment has come. People are awakening to the truth, and those who were unknowingly complicit in the scheme recoil in disbelief and shame. "We didn't know," they whisper. "We couldn't see the bigger picture." But ignorance is a flimsy shield against the storm of consequences now raining down on them. Every attack they once brushed aside, minimized, or justified is now laid bare in its raw brutality. The psychological warfare, the character defamation, the calculated destruction of your support system, it was never accidental. It was all part of a cold, calculated campaign executed with ruthless precision. And now it's all exposed. Those whisper campaigns that were meant to isolate you. The rumors, strategically seeded to poison perceptions. The feigned concern, used to raise doubts about your mental or emotional state. All of it has been traced back to its origins. Every move, every manipulation has been revealed as part of a tactical assault on your very existence. But the tide began to turn in one small but powerful moment. A crystalline instant when the mask they wore began to fracture. Did you catch it? That flicker of panic in their eyes, that subtle break in their polished performance, that hesitation in their well-rehearsed story. That was the beginning of their end. In their arrogance, they believed they were above discovery. In their hubris, they saw themselves as the untouchable authors of reality itself. But what a magnificent illusion it was, what grand blindness. They forgot the most powerful truth of all. Reality cannot be rewritten forever. Truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds its way back to the surface. They tried to reduce your role to a mere footnote in a narrative they controlled. They tried to erase your significance, minimize your contributions, question your very essence. But truth is relentless, and it resists distortion. Now their fiction crumbles against the unmovable wall of what actually occurred. Watch them now. See how they turn on each other, pointing fingers as their ship sinks beneath the weight of truth. They scramble to rewrite their own involvement, to feign ignorance, to plead misunderstanding. But it's too late. The evidence is irrefutable, and their frantic backpedaling only exposes their guilt more clearly. Their panic is no longer hidden. It radiates from them in waves, visible in every misstep. They make errors, they contradict themselves. They reveal more than they intend with every breath, every attempt to salvage control. You can hear it in their voices, the tremor when questioned, the nervous laughter when pressed, the flash of anger when confronted with facts they can't deny. These reactions betray them. The calm exterior crumbles. The desperation of those losing control becomes undeniable. Their eyes dart, searching for exits that no longer exist. Their once fluent words tangle and stumble. The confident delivery devolves into hesitant, stumbling phrases. The perfectly rehearsed performance disintegrates before an audience that is suddenly alert and paying close attention. Do you remember how they once stood so confidently, their voices unwavering as they spun their version of events? Remember how they maintained eye contact, never blinking, while spewing pure fabrication? That unshakable confidence was their greatest weapon. And now, it's gone. Abandon them at the very moment they need it most. It's poetic. It's precise. It's justice arriving on divine time. Because behind every conspiracy there is an architect. Behind every organized assault, there is a strategist. The puppets may have danced, but someone very specific, pulled the strings. That elder, that leader, that central figure who orchestrated it all while carefully maintaining plausible deniability. They can no longer hide. Now they stand exposed beneath the unforgiving spotlight of scrutiny. The fingerprints they once thought invisible now glow with damning clarity, etched across every layer of this unraveling scheme. The hierarchy of destruction is being mapped out in real time. Every role accounted for, from the foot soldiers to the lieutenants, the generals, and ultimately the commander who issued the final orders. Each one a link in a chain of malice that stretches far deeper than anyone initially suspected, all connected to power structures that feared what you represented. These hidden players, so comfortable in the shadows, believed the darkness would shield them forever. But that too was a catastrophic miscalculation. Shadows can only exist where light is blocked. And now light is pouring in from every direction, illuminating even the most hidden corners. There is no space left dark enough to conceal their involvement. Every tactic they used to isolate you has begun to backfire. Every plot meant to break you now rebounds with divine force. Every betrayal carefully crafted to ruin you has instead become a forge for your strength. The cosmic machinery of justice is operating flawlessly, transmuting their toxic intentions into the very medicine that heals what they tried to destroy. The puppet master, once so confident in their distance, believed they were beyond reach. Hidden behind layers of protection, they directed the operation from the shadows, their public image untarnished while destruction unfolded at their command. Their safety was calculated, their insulation from consequence deliberately constructed. But now, all of that has unraveled. The threads tying them to every act of sabotage have been revealed, and those threads vibrate with a resonance that cannot be denied. They thought their influence over the material world would shield them. But what they failed to grasp, or never truly understood, is that beneath the visible realm, deeper currents are always flowing. Universal law cannot be tricked. It cannot be bribed, manipulated, or ignored. It operates with the precision of mathematics, returning to each soul exactly what it has sent forth. Divine order is not some comforting illusion designed to ease pain. It is the foundation of existence itself. And now they must face this inescapable truth with trembling knees and hearts weighed down by dread. What they unleashed is now returning to them, amplified, multiplied, and unavoidable. They were warned, signs were given. Repeated opportunities to change course were laid before them, each more urgent than the last. But they dismissed them all, waving them off with arrogant certainty. They believed themselves immune to consequence. And now that illusion has shattered. They can no longer negotiate or evade what lies beyond the physical realm. The spiritual dimensions of their actions are revealing themselves with terrifying clarity, unfolding in perfect symmetry. The cosmic ledger is always balanced, not through vengeance or punishment, but through the precise mathematics of energetic restoration. What they projected now returns. What they built on deceit collapses under its own weight. What they initiated has completed its full circle, coming back to the source, without exception, without loophole, without immunity. There is no diplomatic exemption from universal law, and now their spiritual bankruptcy is fully exposed. The karmic debt they've accumulated through countless choices rooted in fear, greed, and desperation must now be repaid. But this is not about punishment. It's not about some external force seeking revenge. This is physics, sacred, soul-level physics. A natural rebalancing is taking place, and it is as impartial as it is inevitable. They laughed at the notion of spiritual consequence. They scoffed at the idea of cosmic justice. They ignored every warning about the unseen weight of their choices. But now, stripped of their illusion, stripped of their protection, they stand fully exposed before these very forces. They are face to face with the mirror of their own intentions. the very energy they launched against you now reflecting back with unrelenting precision. Power, when held through manipulation, rarely lets go without a struggle. But there are forces that defy resistance. There are tides that no willpower can turn. This moment marks such a shift, a profound realignment that nothing can stop. Their once commanding authority dissolves like salt in a rising tide. Their grip on control slips faster with every desperate clutch. And now, the voices they once silenced have become thunderous. The truths they tried to bury are spreading with unstoppable force. People are awakening, emerging from a fog of lies and illusions, blinking in disbelief at the narratives they once accepted without question. How did we not see this, they ask? How were we so easily deceived? The veils fall, the illusions shatter. The scales drop from eyes that are now seeing clearly, and what has been seen cannot be unseen. But this is more than a mere transfer of power from one hand to another. It is a transformation of power itself. The old mechanisms of control, fear, deception, manipulation, are losing their effectiveness hour by hour. A new paradigm is emerging, one they cannot corrupt, cannot twist, cannot influence. The shift is accelerating. What began as a whisper grew into conversation, then into a declaration, and now into an undeniable living reality. Their desperate attempts to halt this transformation only serves to highlight their growing irrelevance in the new world now rising all around them. Just as mountains do not negotiate their presence and oceans do not compromise their depth, this monumental shift, the reordering of reality itself, moves forward with elemental certainty. No amount of denial can alter its direction. No resistance, no clinging to outdated traditions can slow its progression. It is unstoppable. They tried to stand against it, assembling armies against a hurricane, building dams to halt a tsunami, erecting barriers against an earthquake. Their efforts were not just futile, they were tragically absurd, like watching children trying to stop the tide with plastic buckets and tiny shovels. Every weapon they once wielded against this awakening now lies useless. Their threats fall flat. Their manipulations no longer find a foothold. The tools that once served them, tools sharpened through fear, deceit, and control, are now exposed as primitive relics, effective only when people still believed in their power. Consider the elaborate architecture they constructed for your destruction, the multi-tiered strategies, the backup plans, the intricate webs of control. So much planning, so much precision, so much focused intention. And yet, all of it is crumbling before their eyes. What was designed to be your downfall has become the very instrument of their collapse. The traps they set with such pride now spring shut on them. The same energy they aimed at your undoing now turns with poetic precision, striking with the justice of the cosmos in full radiant clarity. Those they convinced to join their cause are now stepping back, questioning everything. Those who blindly followed orders begin to feel the weight of regret. And those who stood by in silence can no longer deny what has happened. The alliance forged in shadows now fractures under the pressure of self-preservation. Watch as their plans unravel, one by one. Watch as each strategy they once believed foolproof explodes in their hands. The full weight of their malicious intent returns to them, not in vengeance, but with the exactness of universal law in motion. Nothing here is random. This is divine precision. They never expected this outcome. In all their careful calculations, all their secret meetings, all their layered schemes, they forgot to account for the one force they could never control: the truth. And once truth breaks free, it creates its own momentum, unstoppable, undeniable. Each domino falls in perfect timing. Each mechanism they engineered for destruction now turns against its maker. The very system they designed to crush you is now collapsing with breathtaking symmetry. It is a fall so elegant, so exact, it could only be divinely orchestrated. Those secret meetings where they plotted in hushed tones, now exposed in full. Those private communications where they coordinated attacks, now part of the public record. The resources they funneled into your destruction have become evidence of their obsession, a testament to a campaign that failed in every way. Every detail of their conspiracy, every dollar spent, every lie told now stands as undeniable proof, evidence against them in the very case they never thought would come to light. They built an elaborate machine with one purpose: to erase you. They poured countless hours into the construction of their scheme, allocating vast resources to ensure its operation. Every detail was calculated, every move premeditated, and now, with eyes wide in horror, they watch as the very machine they built, their creation, their responsibility, turns against them with ruthless efficiency. The hunter has become the hunted. The trapper is caught in their own snare. The executioner now stares into the blade once intended for another. Their reputation lies in absolute ruin, not because of any campaign waged against them, but because of the sheer devastating force of truth laid bare. No intricate conspiracy was needed to bring about their collapse. Their own actions, now fully exposed, have done all the work with brutal precision. The community that once stood by them now looks again with new eyes, reevaluating every past interaction, every word, every gesture. Words that were once taken at face value now crumble under scrutiny. Explanations that once sufficed now seem flimsy, hollow, and wholly inadequate when measured against the growing mountain of evidence. And no matter how creatively they spin new narratives, no matter how passionately they deny or how fiercely they attempt to redirect the blame, the damage is irreversible. Some bells once rung cannot be unrung. Some revelations, once exposed to light, can never be forced back into the shadows. Every attempt to downplay their involvement only magnifies their desperation. Each effort to shift blame further exposes the depth of their complicity. And every clever maneuver to escape consequence only reinforces the very reason consequences are essential. The fallout doesn't stop with them. It ripples outward, touching all who participated, all who enabled, and all who knew but chose silence. This is a reckoning from which no one escapes untouched. The only variable now is how much responsibility each soul must carry for what unfolded. Their carefully cultivated social capital, nurtured over years through image management and manipulation, has evaporated in a single gust of truth. Their once unquestioned credibility within their chosen circles has disintegrated, and the influence they held so tightly, the currency they prized above all else, is now worthless in a reality that has begun to trade only in authenticity and transparency. Watch closely now, as those who once called themselves friends begin to find their spine. They never realized they had it within them until now. Watch as longtime allies suddenly discover pressing matters elsewhere, their loyalty dissolving in silence. Watch as admirers, once eager to praise, transform into critics with stunning speed. The isolation they once tried to force upon you now encircles them instead, completing a perfect loop of poetic justice. Their desperate efforts to steer the narrative only hasten its collapse. Their frantic justifications clash with established facts. Their emotional pleas for understanding now land on ears trained to detect manipulation. Every word they speak buries them deeper. Every defense they muster only strengthens the case against them. You never had to retaliate, you never needed to destroy them. The truth, once revealed, has done what no retaliation ever could: dismantled their illusion with surgical precision. Your existence, your persistence, your unwavering stance in the face of their relentless attempts to erase you. This is victory beyond measure. You now stand at the center of something far greater than personal redemption. This is transformation on a soul level. A shift in collective consciousness sparked not by vengeance, but by truth made visible. You are not here as a victim seeking revenge. You are the catalyst for change. What was done to you, though deeply personal, now shines a light on a larger system of manipulation and control, one that harmed many before you, and would have continued to do so unchecked. Your experience, now illuminated, serves a purpose that transcends your individual story. It becomes a beacon for those still trapped in similar shadows. There is a protection surrounding you now, but it is not born from retaliation or defense. It is formed from your authentic alignment with truth. And no malicious intent, no amount of deception or aggression can penetrate that. You are untouchable, not by force, not by domination, but by the sheer power of standing in harmony with the cosmic order. As they finally face their reckoning, as the full weight of universal law settles upon them, you continue forward, light, free, unburdened by the need for revenge, because their destruction was never your responsibility. It never had to be. Their downfall was never your doing. It was the inevitable consequence of their own choices set in motion long ago. The cat isn't just out of the bag, it roars now, shaking the heavens and rattling the very foundations of everything they built to stand against you. Every secret has been dragged into the light, every manipulation revealed, every participant identified. The light has explored every shadow, uncovered every hidden act, and left no corner untouched. Nothing remains concealed. And now your moment arrives, not with fanfare or spectacle, but with the quiet, steady certainty of dawn breaking after the longest night. What they tried to end still thrives. What they sought to silence now speaks with greater authority. What they worked so hard to destroy has become a living testament to the unbreakable, enduring power of truth. They went to extraordinary lengths to write your ending, but instead, in that failure, they penned their own. The cosmic machinery of justice continues to operate with flawless precision, untouched by manipulation, immune to corruption, and utterly beyond escape. You never needed their approval to exist. You never required their permission to rise. You never depended on their validation to fulfill your purpose. And that was their greatest miscalculation. They believed their authority could shape your reality. They thought that by rejecting you, they could erase your truth. They assumed that denying your experience could somehow invalidate your presence. They were wrong. So very wrong. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten wisdom.